It's that 93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video. One of the biggest scam artists in boxing, by the name of Triple G, or Golovkin rather, apparently might move up to 168 after fighting BJ Saunders. That's Billy Joe Saunders. So, yeah, man. I personally think, hey, listen, this guy has said anyone from 154 to 168. He said that, right? 154 to 168. Canelo then said, okay, come at 155. He says, no, I'll only do it for Floyd. Canelo's bigger name than anyone at 168. You know, Andre Ward was never as big name as Canelo. Never. So, okay, what I would have understood, okay, anyone at 154. He said, like, if he said, okay, I'm willing to move down to 154 for Floyd, that makes sense. But he said 154 to 168. Who is a bigger name at 168? Or who's anywhere near of a name as in 168 as Floyd? Canelo is the closest name to Floyd out of all these fighters from 154 to 168. And Canelo was at 155. So so someone to say, oh, he wants to go down for Floyd. Canelo's not no Floyd. But guess what? Who is bigger name than Canelo at 168? No one. So why didn't he take the fight at 155? So, you know, him saying anyone from 154 to 168 is bullshit. Because if he doesn't fight, Canelo's within 154 to 168. And Floyd was not going to move up to 154 like that to fight Triple G. He might. But if you only wanted Floyd, you wouldn't say at 168. Floyd's never going to be at 168. So, you know, this 154 to 168 thing is bullshit. It's just saying it to the public to just, you know, to be somebody in front of these public's eyes when you isn't shit. That's the problem with Triple G, man. And now he's talking about moving to 168. You could have done this before, and all of a sudden they're starting to make this excuse that he's a bit old and things like that. That's why he's not performing well against Triple G, against Danny Jacobs rather. Sorry, I'm fucking up my words, but whatever. I'm fucking up words, but no, as Triple G's fucking up his whole boxing career now, fighting Danny Jacobs, looking like shit. He's exposed, back to back. But see, the thing is with he's apparently getting old now. Why all of a sudden he wants to move up to fucking 168 now? Why? Canelo can fight you. Hey, Billy Joe Saunders, after he beats him, Canelo might fight him. Or maybe he doesn't want to make the Canelo fight. Maybe he doesn't want to make the Canelo fight. Maybe he knows Canelo will beat the shit out of him. You know, we don't know, man. We really don't know. And, you know, at 168, there's some decent fights. I think James DeGale's there. There's a few decent fights that can be made. But James DeGale called him out at 160. Let's see if he takes it. I mean, look, Triple G could have done some of this shit before. He doesn't have to do it right now. It's kind of bullshit that what he's doing right now. I think he's trying to do this to get away from Canelo. You know, he has a better chance of beating James DeGale than he has a chance of beating Canelo. That's straight to real talk. And James DeGale is actually someone who might actually win. But, you know, I don't think if Triple G is going to try and move up and he may fight someone good, like James DeGale, he might. When I say he might, I do mean he might. Because he might actually fight a bum. And live up to his name, you know, and you make excuses for why those fights couldn't happen. He always has an excuse for something. He always does. And then if he loses to James DeGale, hey, guess what? I moved up in weight. That's why I lost. I mean, after all, these fighters are... Kell Brook lost, moving up weight. Khan lost, moving up weight. He's just going to come out with an excuse. And plus, Triple G is getting old. But, hey, guess what? He could stay at 160 and make that Canelo fight. He could really make that Canelo fight. I think he's trying to avoid Canelo. You know, Canelo's basically said... Team Canelo's basically said something about, you know, Triple G not being, you know, his... It seems like Team Canelo don't want to offer him that 50 million anymore. I think less. But, whatever they're offering, just take it. Because it's still going to be your biggest payday. And this is the thing I want to talk about, people, that Triple G has built up a reputation of fighting lower level oppositions for most part. Soon as he steps up, he looks like shit. And that's all I'm saying, right? And this is why it's important for fighters to fight good fighters. They could be the best fighter out there. They could be one of the best. But we don't know that. Because they could be completely hyped up. We need to see them fight good fighters. And therefore, when someone offering, not 40%, and Triple G feels like he deserves 40% at least, then, it's, the way I see it is like, okay, why did you deserve 40%? What have you proven? You haven't proven anything by fighting these top fighters. You could be a, very good fighter. You could be a decent fighter. We don't know how good you are. And if he's not a very good fighter, he don't deserve no 40%. So when people argue about that, look how much money that's going to make, Triple G doesn't deserve more than that 15 million. He has to take more chances. He has to, when he walked into Heathrow Airport in London here, my friends saw him. And I'm fairly sure other people saw him. And no one gave a fuck. I guarantee if someone like Canelo was here, people will ask for autographs. I guarantee you that. Triple G is not as big of a name as what people think. He's a name. He's a name in boxing. But, he's hyped up, overrated, and just a scam artist, to be honest, in a way. He's a good fighter still. He's not a bum. He's just one of the biggest hype jobs in boxing. I think 2017, we've kind of come. I think this will be the biggest hype job exposed in boxing in this year. Will be Triple G. I know the year has a lot more months to go, but I think, who else, if they lose, right, and you don't expect them to lose, who else out there that if they lose, they will become a bigger hype job than Triple G? They'll be considered a bigger hype job than Triple G. If Canelo loses, no, he still wouldn't be considered a hype job like Triple G was, because Triple G was considered the baddest man on the planet. He was considered this invincible, can take anything that's thrown at him. Hits like a heavyweight. He's got power. But damn. Man, there's no one like... I think if Joshua loses, if Anthony Joshua loses, will he become bigger hype job than Triple G? I don't know, man. Maybe not. Let's see. Anthony Joshua might turn to be a hype job. Actually, David Haye lost, and that was a huge upset. But, David Haye was really a disabled man in there. And for a disabled man, he was doing pretty good. For David Haye to have one leg and the other leg pretty fucked up, he did pretty well, in my opinion. So I don't think David Haye is as big of a hype job as Triple G. And if Anthony Joshua loses, I don't think he's as big of... I don't know, he could be, to be honest. I need to think about that. But that's no hero there, This is really... I don't know, man. Maybe Anthony Joshua might turn out to be a bigger hype job if he loses. But let's see, man. Let's see. Who else is there? Who else? Let me think. I haven't planned this. I don't plan any of my videos. I'm thinking, what if Lomachenko loses? Well, if he somehow moves up to fight Manny Pacquiao and he loses, I don't think that's making a bigger hype job than Triple G. If Kovalev loses to Andre Ward, should the rematch happen, which I think he will, I don't think Kovalev will become a hype job automatically to people, because Kovalev in the first fight against Ward, he did really well. Even if he lost the fight, he did really well. And in the second fight, if he loses, I don't think he's going to lose by a huge margin when he gets fucked up. No, because Andre was a world-class fighter. And even if he loses by a bad margin, he had that first performance against Andre Ward. So I can't imagine Kovalev being considered a hype job if he does lose to Andre Ward in the rematch. He lost in the first fight, but I feel like he won the fight. But even if you think he lost the fight, there's no way he's a hype job. Because he did really well. He dropped Andre Ward. I know Triple G dropped Danny Jacobs, but damn. The thing is, Triple G, it's not about that he's not a good fighter. He's a good fighter in my opinion, but it's how he was portrayed. Hype jobs does not necessarily mean that you're a bad fighter. Hype job just means you are hyped up to be way better than what you actually are. You could be a 7 out of 10 fighter, but you're hyped up to be a 9 out of 10 fighter. I mean, out of 10 rating. So, I think Triple G is a hype job. He probably will be staying the biggest hype job unless Anthony Joshua loses. In that case, I'm still not even sure if Anthony Joshua becomes the biggest hype job or not. Let me know what you think. I'm Stan93 Boxing. I'm out.